Rev up your engines! It's time for the Scotty Kilmer channel. Today I'm going to talk a little about why you might think about getting an electric arc welder to fix things on your car. Now, electric arc welders are really simple devices. They're basically just a giant transformer to put out a lot of electricity so you can weld with electricity. They're very rugged machines. I bought this one on sale for about 200 bucks at Harbor Freight Tools. And when you're looking for a good welder, pick it up. Ugh. If it's heavy like this one, you know it's solidly built. And if you're working on cars, this 225 amp welder is strong enough. And they're very simple devices. You just turn the on switch, turns it on. Then you crank the crank to change the current readings, whether you want it higher or lower. In this case, we're setting it at about 125 amps because I'm using a 1/8 inch welding rod and welding heavy steel. That's a pretty good setting. Now, admittedly, welding is sort of an art, but you can get very good basic books tell you what kind of rods to use, what kind of settings to use for what kind of welding. Well, we're just going to show you how a basic weld works now. The ground clamp is just ground to the metal piece that you're welding on. Then the welding rod just goes into the positive wire to do the welding with. And of course I'm going to be wearing a welding helmet so I don't get blind. And I'm using a special helmet. It's auto darkening, so you can see a little, but once the flash comes up, that activates the solar panel, which turns it super dark so you can see the weld. If you don't get one of these and just a real dark one, you're always lifting it up and down looking at the work. This way you can keep the helmet on the whole time. And of course you want to wear good old leather gloves to keep the sparks from getting your hands and burning you. And anything long sleeve to keep it from getting on your skin. Now in welding, you have to have bare metal surface, so you got to get all the paint off. That way when the clamps are on, you get full electrical power. Now when you start, you have to start an arc. So you scratch it a little, then it starts arcing. Then you start to apply a bead and stay about 1/8 of an inch away from the arc. You want to get little swirls like this in a line. You'll get good with practice. Just practice for a while. I found that the best thing to do is to get different pieces of metal, practice on them, get a book that shows what kind of rods to use, what kind of metals, and how much thickness metal to use, what kind of amperage on your welder, and you'll be able to weld things together really well after, a few days of practice. And here's a tip. The welding rods are covered with this flux. If you store it where it's humid and wet, flux will come off. So do what I do, store them in the fridge. Because there's no place drier than the inside of a fridge. It's really dry. Keeps from going out. I store my gunpowder in there too. So the next time something big breaks on your car, don't buy an expensive part. Weld it back together. Because if you buy it on sale like me, a good welder is the best 200 bucks you'll ever spend on tools. And remember, if you have any car questions, just visit the Scotty Kilmer channel. And I'll answer them as soon as I get back from paradise. Assuming I come back.